What's up, everybody? Tanner Larsson here, and welcome back to the Optimized Ecommerce Podcast. Super excited to be here with you guys today. We've got a returning guest from the BGS team here with us today, Casey Brown. So Casey, again, as you guys know, you probably heard, he's been with us for a long time, almost since we started. One of the kind of OGs in the world of revenue optimization, works on our AMP stores, also works on our WRAP clients, and actually helped pioneer the WRAP program, which is called the Revenue Accelerator Program, which is a done-for-you one-off service that we provide. If you're interested in that, you can go to the Build, Grow, Scale website, and you'll be talking to Casey if you want to learn about that. But anyway, one of the things that Casey is really good at on stores is boosting average order value, okay? And that's obviously a super, super important thing on any store, but even more so important in this new advertising environment that we're in with, iOS 14, potentially iOS 15 and all this stuff. You need more money to be able to acquire customers, right? Your CPMs, your ad costs, your click rates, everything has gone through the roof. So the higher your average order value is, the easier it is for you to sustain and withstand the market conditions that we're in right now. Also, you know that with average order value, that's he who can afford to pay the most to acquire the customer win. That's where average order value comes in. That came from Dan Kennedy, and Jay Abraham says it, and practically anybody who's anybody in terms of business believes that and realizes that that's the key to scaling. And it's literally, Casey's been working with one of our clients for just almost 4 years now. And that brand has done tens and tens of millions of dollars a year, and it continues to grow and it does great. But one of the thing that really allowed them to really start moving was boosting that AOV. And he's going to be talking about that a little bit here and why it's enabled that store to grow and some other stores to grow as well. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring Casey on. Guys, before I do, if you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or whatever, that's great. This one, we're actually going to have some slides. Casey's going to be sharing some examples on the screen here. So make sure you're also over on our YouTube channel, or after you listen to it, hop over to the YouTube channel so you can see the video aspect of this podcast, right? And if you need the links for that, just go to buildgrowscale.com/podcast. And you'll see a link to the YouTube version of the podcast, and show notes, and the video will actually be embedded on that page as well. All right. So with that, Casey, thanks for coming back, bro.
Oh yeah, it's always a pleasure. I love to chat with you and talk about the latest stuff in the industry, geek out a little bit.
Yeah. Now, guys, Casey is a true e-commerce geek. Like the same way I get excited and love talking about ecom all day long. Casey's the same way. Like he could talk about it all day, talk your ear off till it falls off about all the different cool things in e-coms, but he's also very passionate, and he's owned his own store. He's run his own brands. He's done his own inventory, his own private labeling, his own, everything. So he's got a really well-rounded grasp of this. But with that said, Casey, let's go ahead and dive in. Why don't we start with why people care about AOV, why they should care about it?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on this a lot. You mentioned a lot of things about, ad costs are just going through the roof, especially with iOS and all these privacy updates. Something similar is probably going to come to Android. And with the ad costs being higher, you're going to have to be able to increase the order value to just basically get more money out of a sale. It's also one of just the 3 ways that you can make money from customers and running e-commerce or any type of business. And I forget who is, maybe you can point out who is the original person to say this, but it's increase the number of orders that you get. That's an obvious one. Increase the order frequency, how often your customers repeat buy from you, and increase the order value, how much your customers spend with you. I don't know, is there any other way to
Those are the 3 ways. I mean, and I don't know exactly who said it first, but I think one of the most famous people for saying it would be Jay Abraham or Kennedy.
Yeah, might have been Ziegler. I don't know, but yeah, one of the famous, gurus said that. So we're talking about one of these. We're not talking about increasing the amount of orders or order frequency, though we have other, podcasts about that. This one's going to laser focus on the third one, which is increasing the value of those orders. And like you talked about, and I just repeated, traffic is crazy expensive these days. And let's say even despite all the super high traffic costs or whatever, you're already doing okay. You're profitable even with a low order value. You're still leaving a lot of money on the table. Why wouldn't you make more money? Who doesn't want to make more money? By the way, if you don't want to make more money, you're on the wrong podcast. Just turn it off right now. This is not for you. We're not for everybody. And then also, this is another thing too. You talked about, how I've been a store owner and stuff like that. One thing that you've noticed, and I've noticed, probably anybody who runs a store notice, is that not all revenue is created equal. It's what is your profit margin on that particular revenue. So we talk about, we do revenue optimization, this and that. I don't really even care about your conversion rate, whatever. It's your net profit. That, at the end of the day, I don't care about your bounce rate or, necessarily your page speed. If I could have you a slow site with a high bounce rate that somehow made you more net profit, I would do it.
Yep.
That would be
That's
very
why
unlikely,
it's revenue optimization, not conversion rate optimization or whatever else. We optimize what wines you keep in your pocket.
Exactly. So I'm going to get into more of this later, but I'll just touch on this for now with saying that not all revenue is created equal. And when you boost your order value through certain ways, the extra revenue can be at a much higher profit than other revenue from selling your flagship product. And I know I'm being a little vague on that, but don't worry, I'm gonna dive more deep and clarify that more as we go through. So now I guess we'll just, if it's okay with you, I'll get into some ways to.
Yeah, let's talk about how. What are some tactical ways? Everybody loves the tactic stuff.
Yeah. So I'll share my screen. I'll kind of go intermittent, maybe just, share it and, turn it off so you can see our faces again and whatnot.
And guys, we'll make sure we're explaining it for those of you on audio that don't sign off. Like, you're still going to get value out of this, even if you can't see it. We'll explain it so you know what we're talking about. But if you actually want to see the real examples that he's sharing and whatnot, make sure you hop over to the YouTube channel to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll try to explain this clearly for you guys listening on audio. Anyway, so an order bump. So I'll first define what an order bump. An order bump is like an add-on or an additional product. So if you're looking at a standard e-commerce page, usually it's put near the add to cart button, and it's something like a box you can check, like check this box to add gift wrapping, or check this box to add a extended warranty, something like that. So for the people who are watching this on YouTube right now, you can see an example. This is for, this is in the jewelry niche, and they have their main product, and they have an addition to add on different chains for it. So you can add a modern chain bracelet, minimal flat cuff, and utility wrap, and they have a little add button below there. So that is what an order bump is. You can see it. And like I said, people on audio can see this later, but I think even the people on audio, you know what it is. You're looking at an e-commerce page. Let's say there's a watch, and then there's an add to cart button, and below the add to cart button or above it, it just says, check this box to add, the leather band with it, or check this box to add the gold band with, the watch you're already getting. Cause some people like to change the watch band, right? So what can you put here as your order bumps? Well, the main flagship product, like the product page that the customer's already on, you want your order bump to be complementary to that. And typically, if you can help it, not require a lot of great explanation. So if somebody's already buying a watch that has, a metal band or a metal chain, whatever you call it, and they're just getting the leather one, or if they're getting the flashlight, click here to check this box to add an extra set of rechargeable batteries. You probably don't need a lot of explanation on that. It's not going to detract. It's not like, well, let me investigate this. Let me think about this. It's kind of like, do you want fries with that? It's kind of, no one needs an explanation of what, French fries are. So that would be an example of like adding a complementary product. Again, kind of like a no-brainer add-on, something that works with that doesn't require a lot of explanation.
Or thought on the buyer's part, right? We don't if it's something they have to consider or see from 20 different angles before they're ready to buy it, not a good fit.
Yeah. I will say one thing. Let me look ahead here. I'm just going to try to explain this as best I can, but let's just say it did require a little bit of explanation. What you can do is it can say, check this box to add, blank widget for $14.95, or sorry, for $14.95, normally $19.95. And then when it says, this widget, that will be like a blue link, and they can click it and get like a little pop-up and maybe scroll through some images and read a short description on it. That can work. We've seen that work pretty well too. But try not to get too far off and explain like something totally new, just to kind of like, oh, they're add on the extra, what is this thing? And then it's clear they can click it. They're still on the same page. It's a little pop-up. They haven't navigated away from the page. It's just a few quick images they can slide through, a little bit of short copy, but don't confuse them. Don't detract. Don't bring in something new there. But that can be the one little maybe exception of what you can, if you have to explain something. If you're for certain niches that are maybe like, well, my store doesn't have a no-brainer add-on. You need a little demonstration, okay, now I'm giving you this option if you must. Another one is gift wrapping. Yeah, Amazon does this. A lot of e-commerce sites do this. You can charge more to gift wrap it. Another one is warranty/insurance. And Ted, I remember one of your students, I guess I won't say his name. Well, it doesn't matter. No one's going to know from his first name, Steve. He was selling an item. But I'll just respect his privacy. I could probably just say what it is. It wouldn't be a problem. Just out of super respect for privacy. It was a product that would never break or have an issue anyway. It was a hard plastic thing that, would never break or have an issue. And he was making buku bucks, getting like a 10 or 15% take rate on a warranty for an unbreakable item, which is basically free money. He called it a lifetime warranty. And I think he even told me, he's like, one of, maybe thousands of people like hit me up on this warranty for it. So warranties and insurance is like, can be like, a way to get free money from an order bump. Priority processing. I know you've talked about this a lot, so I'll make it quick. This is not priority shipping. You're not offering to upgrade their shipping at this. You're just saying like, hey, our warehouse gets 150 orders. If you're not order number 90 in the day, we'll put you at the top of the queue, first to get, picked and processed. You can charge, $5 or something for our priority processing, just a little, checkbox. And there could be also personalization. Think of, print on demand. If you want, the Father's Day mug to actually have, the dad's name on it, you can say, hey, personalized engraving, add, $5 or $10 extra, and you can put the little, personalized thing on there. Is there anything you want to add on there that jumps into your mind? You think I covered?
No, those are some very simple ones. They all work really well. And you notice a lot of these, like the gift wrap, the warranty, insurance, priority process, and the personalization, those are all easy order bumps that have high profit margins and low fulfillment costs. That's another thing. You don't want, just because you can add a product as an order bump doesn't mean you should if the margin's not there, or if adding the order bump dramatically increases the shipping cost. The idea here is that this creates a profit booster to your business, not creates an added expense.
Exactly. Like we're going to clarify more on that, but exactly. So ideally something that fits in the same, I guess in all cases, there could be exceptions, your numbers, your fulfillment costs, but ideally most of the time you would want this add-on to fit into the same box as your flagship product that you're already shipping.
Yep.
This is just one more example. I've pretty much explained this pretty well, but this one has two. It has upgrade to wood gift box. There's a check box for it. It doesn't actually have a price there, which is interesting. That's probably a missed opportunity for these people. But yeah, for people who can't see it, they have their shop now button. And this must be from a collections page. I forget where I even got this from. But anyway, you can upgrade to a gift box as a checkbox there just to add the wood gift box. And then you can add the extra straps. This is the watch example. Mm-hmm. And this right here is an example of an order bump. And there's two things that I want to point out from this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to come back to this slide in 1 second here. I'm going to talk about this one first. So this is to clarify the thing that I've been saying that I'm going to clarify for the longest time now. We had a client, the one that I've been working with for about 4 years now, and on her store, her order bump accounted for 3% of her total revenue. So you may think, oh, that's not so impressive. I just stopped sharing my screen. I'll turn it on again in a second, but because you saw it before, I turned off the screen sharing. Almost $500,000. Now that's because the store did 17 million last year, thanks to COVID Christmas, amongst other things. But yeah, the store did 17 million last year. 500,000 of that revenue, about 3% was from the order bump. And when you're talking about big numbers, all of a sudden percentages become a lot more. Like 1% of a trillion is 10 million, right? If I'm doing math right, 1% of a trillion is
You're
10
asking
million,
me?
Yeah. Math is not Tanner's strong suit. But yeah, so it's like if I said, oh, I got a 1% return on my $100. Okay, cool. You made $1. Who cares? But if you invested $1 trillion, 1% is now 10 million. So number one, we're talking about a lot of revenue. So 3%. Now I want to say it's $500,000. But let me give even more impressive stat here. That 3% of the total revenue was not 3% of her total profit. It was about 13% of her net profit. So I'll say that one more time. The order bump, this free little check the box, just add it on if you please, would you like fries with that, is 3% of the total revenue, but it's 13% of the store's net profit. And this goes back to what we were saying earlier, Tanner. The ad cost, the cost per acquisition, is for the flagship product of this store. So no matter what, whether she has an order bump, whether she doesn't, whether, I don't know, they're buying 1, 2, 10 of these things, that product is what attracts the customer. That's what brings in cold traffic. And that's that. The revenue on the order bump is just additional. It's like bonus on top of that. And the product is a very high margin product. Is something that she sells for $10, and her landed cost is probably about $1 to $1.50 at the most. It's $2. So let's just even call it $1, because I think it's more like $1 her landed cost. So she sells it for $10. It costs her $1. It's basically all profit, and the shipping cost is also free because it goes into the same box as the flagship product. So the margins on it are insane. It's basically all the revenue from the upsell, not all of 90% of it, but basically all of it is pure net profit directly in her pocket. So that should everybody's ear. It's like when a twig snaps in the forest and the deers look up and they perk up.
Should
everybody
perk everybody up.
Yeah, that should perk you up. Right here is that. And then honestly, and we're doing more to increase the take rate of this. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen now, because we can do even better than that. We can get total revenue to 6% and net profit from the order bump to 26%, like double those. I'm talking more about that. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say, guys, this is everybody's like, oh yeah, she must just have the perfect product and the perfect opportunity to order bump. But no, they're not. I mean, yes, does she sell good products? Yes, she does. Obviously, her store did 17 million. She sells great products. But the order bump, any store can have an order bump like this. This is not something that is just unique to this brand or whatever else. It's, you just have to get a little creative sometimes and spend some time thinking about it. But this is time well spent. If you can get 3% of your total orders to take it, but make 13% of your profit from that take rate, that's amazing, right? Yeah. And honestly, I'll tell you, like from a BGS amplified partner, BGS ecom insider status, this take rate on this product right here is actually very low. Okay. It still made her 500 grand, but it's actually a very low take rate. And there's other things that we're continually doing to optimize and tweak this in and make it better. But another way to increase the take rate potentially would be just switching to a different product that had a higher appeal.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to do with what she has, in inventory. Getting stuff from China right now is, takes longer and more expensive. Not to get off topic, but yeah,
we can jump back in there and show them how you've already improved it.
So this is there's two things I want to explain here. Number one is where I said, if your product requires a little bit more explanation. In this case, it definitely does require just a little bit of explanation. It says checkbox to add, for privacy, for respect to the client. I put this red bar over it, but click box to add widget for $9.95, normally $14.95. Clicking that would launch the pop-up, and you can scroll through and get, a picture.
Details on the product.
Yeah, details. Yeah, more details, more explanation. And then the other thing I wanted to show here is we're actually, I should get the, or I do have the updated stats actually. just by this is called a Johnson box for anybody who's familiar with this. And for the people on audio, basically what I'm showing is I'm showing an e-commerce product page where most of the stuff is blurred out. I showed, checkbox to add widget for this price and, how that was a link. They can click it up. And then there's like, anybody who's ever cut coupons before, like, it's like a red dashed line around the order bump section, specifically to just a border. Yep. It's a dashed line border around the order bump section, literally just, it's probably pretty obvious, just to draw more attention to that area. So pretty obvious. So that's what I'm showing here. And then the results of that was a recent test here. We can see here that this is the result of adding that
Johnson box.
Yeah, the Johnson box, exactly. Yeah. 8.6% increase in conversion rate. I'm not sure, why that happened, but I'll take it. Maybe just, I don't know. I think what happens is, I want to get off topic here, but there's a few little bad apples with this thing. Sometimes what they do is they, because the additional product is $15, but if they buy it with the thing, it's $10. If they buy it with the flagship product, we give them a discount. But what they realize is that if they add both to cart, and then they delete the flagship product, they can just get the order bump at $10 instead of 15. And then it's like, 5% of people, we still make money on it because we charge them for shipping if they're below a certain amount. So we still make, plenty of money on it. And they probably think they're, sneaking one past the goalie, but whatever, we still make money. That's what I think is accounting for the increase in conversion rate here. But onto the better stuff. Almost $4 extra in average order value, about $3.75 extra in average order value. And here's the big one, 12.5% increase in revenue per user.
Just by adding the Johnson box. And I think the other stat was adding the Johnson box increased the actual take rate by 22.2% or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I didn't include that one in my slides, but yeah, I have that screenshot somewhere. I don't think I could find that, but I was looking for that. But yes, it was about a 22% increase in the number of people that take the order bump just by adding the Johnson box, which is that red border around the order bump section.
So order bumps are clearly, guys, as we've talked about it for a long time, that's pretty much our favorite. And we've got other podcast episodes where we've gone into other case studies of podcast or of order bumps and everything else. We have apps for it and all that stuff. But what's another one? Let's go into another one.
Let's move through these, I guess, kind of quickly now in the interest of time. There's bundles. These are kind of obvious. I have a screenshot from Amazon. This is a camera with the lens, and this is actually an AC charger for it. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty obvious. Bundling. I mean, we could talk. We're going to try to keep this one a little bit shorter, I think, this episode, but we can absolutely get into this more on a later thing. But I think bundling is a pretty obvious one. What can go together? What can you bundle together and then give them a discount on? And especially because you're going to be able to put everything in one box, so your margin on shipping is going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot better. Anything you want to say on that, or should we just kind of breeze through?
No,
these?
And bundles, guys. One thing about bundles is we've actually developed hard-coded. Well, it's actually an app, but it's also hard-coded functionality, so people can build their own bundles. Right?
Yes.
It's just because you want to put products together doesn't always mean they sell well together. The best way to do that is to do a basket analysis and find out what your customers buy, and then create bundles based on that. But another thing that we've been finding great success with is allowing the customer to build their own bundle and receive the bundle discount still. So we've actually developed an app that does that. Super, super cool, and makes our stores a lot of money. So
that's amazing. Let's see here. I have, this is a quick result. This is, talking about bundling still. From on the shop page, AKA like all collections, like showing, all products on the store, which is actually on this store where the client sends traffic to. By the way, think of that too. A lot of you guys send traffic directly to product page. Consider sending it to the a collections page. But anyway, the result of this test, and it's not quite finished yet. We're going to let it run a little bit longer. I like to run these to about 800 to 900 purchases total, and this is about 700 purchases. So it's almost fully significant data. And we're seeing as of now, and I just checked today, and it's actually holding strong at this, about 6% increase in revenue per user so that, there's product. What we did is the second product on the collections page is a bundle. That was the test. So instead of just being product A, B, C, D, it's product A, bundle, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So that's how that went on bundling. Subscriptions. This is, I know Tanner, you could almost write a book about this whole.
Could almost write a book, about subscription.
Almost, with a whole chapter dedicated to MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue. You should maybe get around to doing that sometime. But yeah, that's an obvious one. This is from Black Rifle Coffee. So this is kind of an obvious one. This is not going to apply to a lot of you if your product isn't consumable. Although, Tanner, again, we're keeping this short, but I'm sure you could rant forever about this. There's a lot of other ways to do subscriptions and get monthly recurring revenue without consumables and the subscribe and save model. But that's
and we actually did another. If you want to talk subscription, guys, you want to hear that? We did another episode about a month or so back. Me and I think it was Brad, and we went deep into subscription models and ways you can do it without having consumable products and everything else. Any kind of continuity level where you're getting monthly billing or quarterly billing or annual billing out of these people is phenomenal. A couple quick ones that are really easy. You could do a loyalty club, a VIP club. You could do an association. You could do some kind of digital component that goes along with it. We have an ecom insider member who sells like joint products and stuff like that, specifically for like knees and things like that. And he built a digital continuity that is actually crushing it now. It's a micro continuity, it's super cheap, but they get into that and they get digital content that supports the joint supplement type stuff that they sell. And they've got multiple levels of continuity there because they've got supplements and they've got the digital continuity.
Isn't that a great thing too? That could be almost a whole brainstorm session, is like, what digital components can you add on to an ecom business? Because digital is like, it's all profit at that point. I mean, if you write a newsletter, you have to like pay somebody to write the newsletter, but then you can leverage it and send it to, everybody. So you can
also add a digital component to your flagship product to increase the price of your flagship product.
And it costs you no extra margin. Yeah.
Yep. Gives you extra. It's like, hey, you're getting my foam roller, but I'm going to give you my access to my digital membership foam roller exercise library with 5,000 exercises, and combined, now it's a $70 foam roller instead of a $27 foam roller or $30 foam roller.
Yeah. All right, I'll just keep it moving here because I know we don't want to make this one too long. A free shipping calculator. This is kind of an obvious one. So this updates in real time. So in the header of the site, it says only 11:05 away from free shipping. I think, again, whether you're on YouTube or audio, you probably know what a free shipping calculator is, so I won't harp on this too much. We have ours in the cart as well. And we've all done that. We'll all, spend an extra $50 to save $1 on shipping practically. You know what I mean? Everyone's done that. Shipping is
typically an irrational, emotional decision versus a practical one. But, there's different ways of doing it. A free shipping threshold just means like, hey, spend $50 or more and we'll send you free shipping. We'll give you free shipping. The free shipping calculator actually does the math for them. So for people like me, it reminds me, it's like, hey, you put a $40 product in your cart, if you spend $10 more, you get free shipping. So it literally just tells them. And as that number drops, it's like, oh God, I only got to add one more thing to my cart and I get free shipping. So then I go scramble around to find something else that I want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that. I don't think I explained that super well, but yes, there's a threshold. You say it's $50, and then as they start adding things, it calculates, lets you know how much extra you have to add. Correct.
Yeah. And one thing on that is the threshold matters, guys. Like, we're talking about increasing your AOV. So if your AOV is $40, your threshold is not $40. Your threshold should be 50 or 55 or 60. You really want it to be 25 to 30% at least higher than your AOV. And then the other pitfall there is once your AOV starts to rise because of your free shipping threshold, well, your free shipping threshold needs to rise as well. So you keep using that to get your customers to spend more and more and more money.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one is one-click upsells, AKA, like a funnel, a sales funnel. The best app out right now is Cart Hook, and I don't like Zipify OCU as much because it's missing some basic features that the legacy version had. Long story short, they used the older version did not use Shopify's native checkout. It went off Shopify, had its own checkout page. And then Shopify was not allowing that anymore. So they had to go to native, meaning they just use Shopify's checkout. It's not something outside of Shopify, but they go from product page to cart to staying on Shopify to the checkout. But they're missing some basic features like an image carousel. Like every e-commerce website you've ever seen since the 90s has had an image carousel, meaning there's a big picture of the product, and then below it, there's a lot of little thumbnails. So it's like you click the little yellow icon and the purse. You click the tiny yellow purse, and then the big image above it changes and shows you the yellow purse, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing the best with Cart Hook right now, and I have some stats up there. Do you want to expand on this at all?
Yeah, guys, on Shopify, one-click upsell technology is still unfortunately limited because Shopify changed the rules. Well, they've always changed the rules, but used to be we could do third-party checkout, take people out of the checkout onto third-party and do our own upsell process. Shopify is changing the game again, and now they're bringing it in-house so they can collect more revenue on that. And they've only allowed a couple of the apps out there to come on the in-house team and start doing that, specifically Ezra's OCU and Jordan Gall's Cart Hook. Those guys are in there. But again, Shopify is still limiting them on what they're able to do. So it's better than nothing, but it's not going to be as free or as awesome as if, say, you were on WooCommerce, Commerce HQ, or one of the other ones where you actually have full control of the upsell, downsell functionality. With that said, still worth using. Work within the constraints if you're on Shopify and get your upsells in place.
Yeah, it's not that bad. If you want to do some really, really complex stuff, it wouldn't work. But if you're just going to do a simple, fairly simple upsells, they work, really, really well. As far as, upsells, this could be, a whole episode, but going back to the order bump thing, something that, complements the product. On an upsell page, you actually can have a little bit more room for a little bit more explanation. With consumables, typically you just see the same thing they just bought and then sell them more at a discount. Like if it's supplements, they bought 3 bottles of turmeric, sell them 3 more at a 50% off or whatever you can afford off.
And why it's important, guys, like, I mean, we can definitely go into this, but when it comes to increasing the AOV, out of anything you can do in your brand, upsell number 1 makes the biggest impact and contribution to your AOV over anything else you'll ever do. Even the order bump and everything else. Upsell number 1 is the number 1 impact driver to boosting AOV. So if you don't even have an upsell 1, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll move on because again, we could talk about if I keep going on one-click upsells and funnels, we'll be here till we'll die of old age. Okay, and then the last one is cross-sells. Again, this is just very, very simple, so we don't need to spend a lot of time on it. I have an Amazon screenshot for you guys on audio. It's literally just frequently bought together, products related to this item, customers also bought, where you're looking at, like here we have a camera, and it's just showing, accessories for the camera. Like one is a different camera, one is a shoulder rig, one is some type of charger, another one's is bundles, going back to something we were saying, earlier. The camera, but like instead of just buying the camera, there's the bundle. So it's typically you see it on the product page, near the bottom, maybe right above or below the reviews. And again, it's just like, cross sells. I think you got to know just suggested products, related products. Hey, you're looking at this Father's Day mug. And then, we also recommend, and then there'll be like, 5 different Father's Day mugs with, different slogans they can look at. Not too much to be said about here. Again, we're trying to not to make this podcast the longest ever, but do you want to add on to that?
Cross sells, guys, the good thing, so cross sells are great. They're a good way to showcase other products. Customers also tends to be my preferred way of doing it because people want to know what other people like and other people have been there before them. But The problem with cross sells is most people do them wrong. That's where cross sells actually get used the most, which is they have them too high up on the product page where they actually cause a distraction from the actual purchase that we're trying to get and the add to cart that we're trying to get. The hierarchy of focus on the product page should be on the add to cart button, and that's it. All we want them to do on that product page is click the add to cart button. Okay. Now, can you still have recommended products? Absolutely. But it should be down well below the fold, below all the pertinent information for that main product that's going to help them make that decision. At that point, yes, you can have it. It's another place people put it is in the cart. Okay.
Yeah.
Having recommended products in the cart. And Casey can tell you that's no bueno.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I guess I'll just want me to give like a 1 minute summary of what we talked about, 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. So yeah, guys, we talked about how to boost average order value. We've explained that the revenue from these add-on additional products that are not the flagship product, because you're using some traffic to drive sales, whether it's Facebook ads or influencers, something drives the sale, whatever, even if it's SEO, whatever gets people on that product page to your flagship product. The margins are going to be a lot lower on that because you're paying for ad cost, you're paying influencers, you're paying somebody to get them there. The revenue from the additional products, the upsells, are at a lot higher net profit. We talked about order bumps, which is just under the add to cart button checkbox to add gift wrapping, an additional product, personalization, etc. Then we talked about bundles. We talked about subscriptions, free shipping calculators, which calculate the free shipping threshold. So, okay, you added $30, just add $20 more, you get free shipping. We talked about one-click upsells through a funnel, which means after they make their initial purchase, it says, thank you for your purchase. We got your money, but hey, would you like fries with that? Would you like to add a drink, something else onto that? And that's, one click will add it on to their order. And then the last thing we talked about, which is cross sells, which is just, customers also bought, showing similar products on the product page.
Absolutely. And guys, thank you for listening to this. I know this was a kind of a quicker episode. We wanted to see how it went with everybody going a little bit faster. But everything we've talked about here, number one, if you want to see the examples, go to buildgrowscale.com/podcast to get that. But I want to give you 3 more resources where you can get deeper into everything Casey and I just talked about today. Okay. Resource number 1 is this podcast. If you just go back a few episodes, you'll see another episode on AOV. You'll see episodes on priority processing. You'll see episodes on cross sells. You'll see episodes on different ways of boosting AOV and lots of stuff therein, product page stuff, all that. Okay. Next resource, the YouTube channel. Okay. If you're on YouTube watching this right now, you're already there. Go check out some of the other videos. We have tons of very specific, how to use this type of upsell, how to use this type of order bump, how to do this. Here's how to do order bumps for POD, how to do order bumps for China drop shipping, how to do this, right? The final resource would be the blog, which is at buildgrowscale.com/blog, where we actually, guys like Casey and all the other revenue optimization experts, they all contribute articles and training topics on how to do all this stuff. So there's complete roadmaps on how to do all of this stuff. And every resource I just listed for you guys is free. You don't have to pay us anything. All right. So I highly recommend you guys check those out. And right now, what I need you to do is click the like button, click the subscribe button, make sure you're subscribed to this podcast so you get notified every time a new episode comes out. And then also leave us a review. Let us know what you think of the episode, what you think of the podcast in general. If you have ideas for topics or guests or anything, we want to hear from you because we do this podcast for you. All right. With that, guys, I will see you in the next episode. Casey, thank you so much for being here. And everybody, have a great day. See you.
Pleasure. Bye.